they were the first ones to create, these super boards that had three-dimensional cows either on top of them or hanging over the side of them or climbing up the pole, all this stuff with just very, very fundamental messaging with that great campaign of the
Yeah.
cows,
Eat more chicken.
promoting chicken.
All right, episode 171. We're back, Rob.
We're back.
We should have named the podcast We're Back.
We're back.
Yeah, we're
Um,
back.
just like
But
Rush is back,
it's
slapping the
too late.
bass.
We've already talked about Rush on like a previous
You
podcast,
can't. Can you ever talk about Rush too much? I'm not sure that you can.
Um, well, if this was a Rush podcast, then yeah, you never can. But I don't know that everybody wants to hear about the Rush. So
All our female.
otherwise, I'm going to start talking about Iron Maiden, and nobody wants to hear about that. I'm getting fired up. So a buddy of mine saw them at Hellfest in France. It's literally called Hellfest. It's like a
That's
3-day, only made more hilarious by the fact that France is having the
the
hottest.
hottest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the hottest it has ever been in the
Yeah.
recorded. Like, the government is putting out notices like, "Do not drink outside. Do not drink alcohol anymore. Like, stop drinking
Yeah.
wine. Like, you need to hydrate, hydrate, hydrate." Like, people are dying. I mean, like, it's like
People are dying.
113.
They're drowned. I heard like 18 people have drowned because
Yeah.
they were so hot that they had to go swimming.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they
yeah.
drowned. It's
It's
not funny, but
So, yeah,
it's crazy.
meanwhile, my buddy is sending me Instagram posts of Bruce Dickinson, like, doing the whole deal, right, at Hellfest,
I wonder who else
So
is on the lineup of
Oh, dude,
Hellfest.
everybody's there. I mean, Megadeth was there, I mean, all these other crazy Cannibal Corpse style type
You
bands.
could
I don't
probably only read half the names of the bands on the lineup poster because they're all
Oh,
just death metal.
yeah, death metal logos. Yeah,
Death
I've
metal.
never understood that thing. I mean, like, why make it so hard to read the name of your own band,
Oh,
like,
John, half of these bands, you can't
you can't
understand any of
understand what
the
they're. Yeah,
lyrics because 'cause they're
yeah.
just grunting, so I think
Well, you got me.
universally it's, "We don't want we"
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
exactly,
noise.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know how to speaking of making things hard to read, but actually that should be easy to read, right? Things that
Yeah.
want to be consumed very, very quickly. We thought we'd take a break from all the AI and SEO and da 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 da, and kick it old school, man. Let's talk outdoor boards, you know?
Outdoor boards
You
or
know, like
billboards
the
there.
long lost tactic, right? That you could say, there are brands out there that only did outdoor boards to literally get, up and running and things like that. I don't, you can't necessarily say it's the cheapest methodology, right? Because it is kind of would you agree it's kind of a real estate play? I mean, different markets, different costs for boards and
Yeah.
availability and, exposure and traffic patterns and things like that, right? So,
Yeah, and it's kind of, the way that the billboard companies, give you their metrics, it's, I'll call them inflated metrics to a certain degree, meaning
yeah.
meaning it's okay. Well, in Atlanta, for example, you got your prime, along 85, let's say,
Yeah.
right, high traffic area, and they'll put together pricing on, you know, however many millions of cars
Yeah.
pass by it in a day,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's how they sell you on the numbers, which is factually accurate.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but one would venture to guess that probably only
Yeah. But
25% of those people are actually.
don't put your death metal band logo up there for 8 million people to drive by at 90 miles an hour and not being able to read it, right? Is
No, but funny you say that because do you remember right at the corner of the connector 7585 and 14th Street, local Atlanta company, that's gone on to do big things, MailChimp,
Yeah.
put up a billboard that was the MailChimp in a death metal style
Oh, I do
logo. Do
remember
you remember
that.
that?
I do remember
You
that.
remember
Yeah.
that? It was awesome. I remember driving to work one day because I passed right at that
Oh,
intersection. It was like, "Oh, wait a minute." And I
okay.
was like, "What does that say?" And it took me a minute.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
And
totally full of it because it's totally happened and it was totally badass. You're right.
yeah,
You're right.
and I always say, like, the great ads make you work for it for just a
Yeah.
second, and that was a perfect example of
Yeah.
that done well on an outdoor board. It was like, "What
Yeah.
is that?"
Do
"Oh,
you recall if
MailChimp."
that was pre Intuit purchase or post? I don't remember.
I I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say pre,
Yeah, me too, me too.
because they used to
Yeah,
do just awesome, cool stuff. Their
yeah,
billboard great around town.
yeah, yeah.
That was
Um,
cool
super
stuff.
fun, but I think, there's definitely a place in the world for outdoor boards, for
Oh,
fun
yeah.
brands and branding, and we've had the pleasure of working on a couple, kick-ass brands, I'd say, that we got to do a ton of outdoor board for. You obviously started SPSU and doing all that, outdoor board stuff
Yeah.
way back in the day, and then we carried that forward, before they were, unceremoniously put together with Kennesaw State by the Board of Regents, I think, right? Or something like
Yeah.
that, so
That's right.
but yeah, a lot of fun old SPSU stuff, and then, yeah, I mean, just I love it.
Yeah, well, then you had traditional boards, which are, again, for those who don't know, it's actually vinyl. They're just giant vinyl
Yeah,
banners wrapped around to make the board, and so you had those, and obviously production on those is kind of a pain. It's
yeah,
expensive. You gotta go install it, do all the
yeah,
things. So then I don't remember when, digital came along, right? But then you had the digital influence
yeah,
on the boards, which, from a buying perspective is great because
yeah,
now they just sell rotations, right?
yeah,
So you'll have 8 advertisers on a board, and they'll just rotate out every 10 seconds.
yeah, yeah.
So I would say that was a huge leap for the
Well,
for the
but Rob,
billboard
you're
industry.
missing the step of that horrible triangular thing that would ka-chunk rotate, right?
Oh, that's
You like,
right.
it wasn't a lenticular because lenticular is like you look at it from this side, it's one way. You
Right,
look at it from that side, it's a
right.
remember that there was that circular one up on top of that building on Peach. It's like, oh, I and Verizon had that one triple, like, oh god,
Yeah,
on like
no
I
bueno.
hated those things because from a design
No,
perspective, there's these giant gutters in between every one of those vertical like blinds, and then when it flips, oh, it looks so bad,
it
and they
didn't
never
look
worked
good.
right. One of them was always, not doing the right thing or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so funny. So,
But I think that allowed people to have, uh, I would say spend less and have a more effective
yeah,
outdoor buy because they could bounce all around the city,
yeah,
and not have to commit to this one board, which, was ridiculously expensive back in the day. So
yeah,
that technology I think applied to billboards was interesting, and not only did it, from a media standpoint and a media saving standpoint, but it opened up, what I would say is creative opportunities for people. We took advantage of that when we did a campaign for Rude, which is a HVAC manufacturer, right? And
yeah.
so for that, what we did
I love
was
this campaign. It's one of
it
my
was
faves.
great. It was great. We came up with this. We did the digital buy, and on our boards, we tied them to the actual temperature outside, right? And as the temperature climbed, um, in a bid to talk to people about entertaining way about air conditioning, as the temperature rise with each degree, the messaging would change.
Totally.
So when it hit 90 degrees, it would say, and I'm trying to remember some of the lines, but at 90 degrees, it would say you know, it's cats can't wait to go swimming hot,
Yeah,
right? Little
yeah.
lines like that.
I think one of them was like your sweat is sweating or
Yeah, it's
something. Like,
even your sweat is sweating.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I think it was from 90 to 100 degrees or something. It's spontaneous combustion hot,
yeah,
uh, things like that. And so, that was a fun, I feel like, use of digital and, technology, what seemed like advanced technology at the time. We're
yeah.
dating ourselves, but a nice way to just use creative messaging and a creative tactic on outdoor boards.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
I mean, that's a great confluence of technology with what you would consider an old school, method or tactic, right? Of like
yeah,
outdoor boards, what? But it's like, to your point, yeah, it's not just one outdoor board printed and stuck on the side of the road for the next 6 weeks, right? It's, 15 different pieces of creative that are all, weather trigger activated, right? And makes
right.
that drive time experience, maybe a little bit more interesting for people, right?
Yeah.
Because they're not seeing the same thing over and over and over again, right? But we designed it in a manner where there is that brand consistency, and then it's just, hey, what temperature it is, and then what the message is, which I think is really, really cool. Like just message forward, right? I think didn't we did it for the winter too, didn't we? Didn't we flip it and we did
I think
like
we
when
did. I
things are
think we
cold as
did.
well? You know what I mean? Like, so and these ran in Atlanta, they ran in Charlotte, I think. Was there another market that we ran these things in?
I think it was Atlanta and Charlotte. I think
Okay,
that's
okay.
right. It was someone, yeah, it's someone please spill coffee on me cold,
Yeah.
right? It's cows are making ice cream cold. Even polar bears are shivering cold. So yeah, we
Yeah.
did it for the opposite as well. So a fun
Yeah.
campaign, good use of outdoor. I'm looking at this cup on my desk. Um, for lunch, I had that,
Yeah.
right? Speaking of iconic outdoor campaigns,
Yeah.
we were talking a little bit earlier about that's kind of how they started, right? With
Yeah.
outdoor, and it wasn't just messaging. I mean, they were the first ones to create, these super boards that had three-dimensional cows either
Yeah.
on top of them or hanging over the side of them or climbing up the pole, all this
Yeah.
stuff with just very, very fundamental messaging with that great campaign of the
Yeah.
cows,
Eat more chicken.
promoting chicken. Um, and
Yeah,
they're
and
still
they
around
would
today.
tie things in seasonal, right? So
Yes.
there'd be like a springtime message, there'd always be like a football message, every once in a while. I think I remember there being like it's not left wing or right wing, and it was like one of the presidential elections or whatever, and it was eat more chicken, or I could be making that up. But they had some good evergreen scenarios, but then they would bring in,
Right.
but keep those same dimensional cows where they were.
Right.
Right. And they were always like, painting the board, right? So it had the bad grammar or the backwards letter or whatever like that. I love that. And you could definitely make that argument. I mean, for years, I mean, for 20 years at least, they didn't do any television at all, Chick-fil-A, right? I mean, it was all outdoor boards and it was
Yeah.
all like local grand activation, the grand store openings and things like that, right? It was kind of more I don't want to say traditional, but it was simple. It was a little bit simpler, right? It wasn't just sponsorship and on TV all the time, right? It was more local marketing, which I thought was really interesting.
That may be the longest running outdoor campaign
Ever.
in
Yeah.
ever. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still those boards are
Yeah,
still
they're still
alive and
around.
kicking, still running. So I'd be curious to think about when those launched.
How
I
do you
mean,
feel about their TV? I mean, I know we're not talking about, TV and stuff like that, but, like, do you like the campaign, the people-centric campaign and what I like about Chick-fil-A and things like that?
um, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for me. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, this is one of those like, and I get you got to refresh campaigns and things, but honestly, the cows was done so well,
I know.
and
I
it could
know.
just go on forever and ever and
Yeah.
ever and
Just keep the
ever that
cows. Yeah.
I get people wanna switch things up and new CMOs come in and
Yeah.
all this kinda stuff. Like, I get the politics of it, but wh why you would abandon that, and they haven't abandoned that. They still
No,
run
yeah.
the cow. They still do the
Yeah.
cows and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, the new people-centric stuff doesn't really do a
I'm
whole
totally
lot
with you. I'm
for
totally
them.
with you. So, I guess,
Um,
it's interesting. I mean, there's this giant brand, right, that you could make the argument really started because no, I mean, not started because, but was supported really by outdoor, right?
yeah,
I mean, just forever, right? And, outdoor is not necessarily for everybody, I don't think, right? I mean, there
yeah,
aren't, I mean, it's interesting. You go to San Francisco and like, it's all outdoor traditional boards for AI and all tech stuff, right? Which to me is like a what are we, So
yeah,
like it's just because it's, up the Bay Shore and driving around and it's exposure, it's eyeballs. That's all it is, right?
right.
But I think, it's interesting for marketing directors to like not necessarily just immediately assume you need to do a Google AdWords can't like are there other things you can do that are kind of more traditional? Like, you know, sometimes, man, direct mail, tactile things in the mail still totally
Sure.
works. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the, don't necessarily do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. I mean, and
So
a lot of it has to do, quite frankly, with, there are metrics tied to everything.
yeah,
There just are, and with
yeah,
digital, you can literally ROI can be directly tied to
yeah,
how many people clicked on a specific ad on a
yeah,
specific website, and they
yeah,
spent a specific amount of money, and I mean, which is great, but I think it makes people nervous, right? This idea of like, "I'm gonna throw a board up there and not really know
yeah,
what the monetary
yeah,
return on that
yeah.
is,"
Here's that Toyota Tundra billboard up there. Did that sell more
That's
Tundras?
a car you're right,
Yeah,
right.
I don't, yeah. I mean,
And I mean, as you and I know, uh, the billboards aren't really about the selling of the car. It's more
yeah,
about when it comes time for me to buy a car,
yeah.
Toyota's gonna be in my
It's gonna be in the mindset
gonna
because
be
it's
in the mindset
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. So
You know who outdoor boards are for? They're for attorneys.
oh god.
And I don't really know why that
Strong
is, but
arm.
yeah, John
Yeah.
Foy, the strong arm,
Yeah.
Morgan& and Morgan,
Montlick. Yeah. Morgan& and
Monlick.
Morgan. How
Yeah,
many billions of dollars did Morgan& and Morgan get for people,
it is, and I don't know why I don't know why that industry really adopted billboards as passionately as they
I don't know
have.
that and
Bus
transit
wraps.
advertising.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
now, do you think people know that those businesses are just aggregators, though? Or do you think that they think that they're hiring Montlick, an associate, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
if
I think most people don't know that they're just aggregators. No.
yeah, I mean, maybe that's why Bill I mean, it has to be because they do a lot of don't they do a lot of drive time radio and stuff too? They do a lot
Lot
of
of
that.
radio.
Yeah,
Lot of radio.
so I mean, it has to be just it's a scattershot approach, and it's a for the media itself, it can be cost effective, right? If you buy so much of it, right? I
Right.
mean, you can negotiate good deals, I think, right? But yeah, you do bring up a really good point that injury law, but even like now that you got me thinking about it, it's you got those 3 big guys, John Foy and Morgan, but, like, you've also got the My Bald Lawyer going up
Oh,
80
yeah.
you got the onesie
Oh,
twosies, You got the
absolutely.
guy that's like, "I speak Spanish," you know what I mean? You got the
That's
guy
right.
like, all those,
That's right.
um, yeah, it's that is a weird one, man.
Maybe it's the same reason that, um, not to knock realtors, but realtors decided at some point in time collectively, we have to put our headshots
Yeah, we have to put our
on all
face.
of our
Yeah,
ads. Like,
yeah,
we have to put our headshots.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they have their headshots, like, on their business cards that they're, like,
That's right.
handing to you, you know?
That's right. And I
Yeah.
don't that's another phenomenon that I don't know why that is. I can't.
I am a real person, I
Yeah,
can
like,
yeah,
it's strange, you know?
yeah. That's funny.
It's a weird thing. I don't
Well, I
understand.
guess if this is a funny meandering podcast to just maybe remind marketing directors that, hey, some traditional methods, keep them in the back of the mind. They still
Yeah.
absolutely work. And then just like the example you provided with Rude, you can use a traditional method in a new and exciting manner, right? And
Yeah.
and do something creative with it, which I think is pretty neat. So
Yeah, I think it's great.
yeah.
I think it's good stuff. And there's a lot of too, if you're so inclined, go look up just creative outdoor boards, and there's a host of examples of just really
Oh
cool
yeah.
stuff that people have done throughout the years, including ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, all right, outdoor, go for it. Well,
Yeah.
if people don't see our outdoor board by chance, where else can the people find us,
They can
John?
find us on all the socials and they can find us online at
That's right.
mocktheagency.com, you
And we
know?
can track them and know exactly where they came from.
Exactly, exactly. We're dropping cookies on people is what we're doing, So,
We're
"Chug a chip,
dropping
please. Chug a chip." So,
cookies.
I'll take a
All right,
peanut butter,
everybody, that wraps up 171, and we will
171. All right,
we
we'll
will
see you
see
next
you next
time.
time.